Okay, you ready?
Oh, yes. I'm born ready.
Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of Secrets of the Viz. Today I have a very special guest, Annabelle, who is here to talk about her wonderful viz on the movie directors and the little bird that appears in the different films. So over to you, Annabelle, to give a short intro.
Yes, so my name is Annabelle. I'm leading the Tableau Analytic Tag as a Data Plus Women Zurich event. If you like enablement, maybe you should keep in touch with me. So I like visit in public. Usually I visit about animals because that's very interesting and important for me. And otherwise, I'm at the moment jobless. So I am doing like some shameless promotion. If you need someone that can lead your Tableau practice or your enablement across your company, call me.
They're blessed to have you. So anyone who is hiring someone to join their team, be sure to hook up. I'll link her profile and her details in the description. So feel free to reach out to her. So today we're going to talk about your wonderful viz. So maybe you can go ahead and share your screen and I will talk through firstly on your design inspiration behind the viz.
So first, what I wanted to share with you is that the viz that you have seen, that I have published, is the second version of a previous viz that I have done. Let me show you what was the first version, in case that you haven't seen it. The first version was this one. So I published this viz about Jimmy the Raven in 2018. Present is about a bird that was an unknown star because he plays in a lot of movies in the late 50s. At that time, I was very happy with this piece, but looking back, I really wanted to do something different. So that's why I come up with a new design. And to explain, you have the drawing. I really wanted to rework adding a tree because it's a bird. So maybe I can draw a tree with the branch larger when he play a lot with a certain director. And then every little branch could be a movie. Then the leaf could be the actor who plays in that movie. So that was the original idea behind this piece. So I calculate the coordinate of everything and plot it in Tableau. Don't ask me why I prefer to complicate myself. I used to love maths at school, so that's probably the answer. And then, because there is some drawing of the birds, I play with my tablet, and that's the very first sketch of the raven. Every little element that is an image that represents the actor, it's drawn with my tablet. So these leaves come from my own drawing. So that is the final result. I use only one worksheet. And it's a little challenge that I put myself there. So you have a lot of map layers, like you can see. And for instance, this is done with one map layer that I call it very cleverly button story 0. So in order to be able to plot this point, you have to have the longitude and the latitude. So how to do that? If I go to point 0, you will see it just make a point with the coordinate that I have chosen myself. And then here the interaction is when I will click on this, the parameter will be fed with the value 0. That's why you have the click me value here, that's just 0. The story point is 0. And of course, you see what is happening here. I click on one of the story point, 1, 2, 3, 4. The image below changed slightly thanks to the other map layers. So every map layer, for instance, this one, it's a director story or the branch story. If I put it myself at 0 and I hide it, that's what this map layer is doing, is creating this branch. And this branch will appear only if the story point is 0. In that case, make point. So use this geographical field to make the point. Otherwise, don't do anything. The story is not 0. This will not be drawn. That's a technique I learned when I was doing my Christmas calendar.
I just have to say something about this. Creating a map layer for buttons. This is such a cool and unique idea. Was that a challenge for yourself to have everything in just one?
Yes. That's what I like. It's like making some challenge. Of course, I could have created like a different worksheet.
Yep, exactly.
Of course. And on this one, I have to say that at the end, I gave up to have everything on one sheet, because usually I'm also a big fan of how to create annotation, and I use several techniques on this. So when I click on 0, you have this, and you see that it's an element on the design, because I didn't want to plot all the comments, even though you can do it. And it's an element that I use control visibility. So this element only appears when the story is 0. You see it here on the top left corner. When the story is 1, the element appear. And again, you see here, this element only appear when the story is 1.
Could you have annotations that show and hide based on the parameter?
Yes, that's that's the one here. You see Pat Moriarty information, and if I select another actor, it will change. This annotation, it's not a map layer, it's the control visibility. So if I go to this one, it's actor position story 2. So simply, it's the same technique. It's like if the story point is 2 and the select actor, it's 2, that means that the select actor is not Johnny Wetzmuller. Click on one of the little leaves to see about these actors, and that's it, make a point. So you can plot everything. It's just like at one moment I give up and I say, okay, let's not do like too much. Let's use the control visibility, because it's also a good exercise to show what we can do differently. But this one is plot directly with the storyline. As soon as I will change the story to 3, this will disappear. The problem is that he has not been credited in all the movie. So he's appearing in all the movie that is displayed on this, but that's what I try to demonstrate in IMDb. It's only credited as Jim the Raven in 7 movies.
All right. I think we have everything we need from your Jimmy Viz today. Thank you, Annabelle, for spending time with us today to walk us through your amazing Viz and how you put everything in one sheet, especially the idea of having the buttons in the map layers as well, and annotations. I'm going to steal some of that tricks for my business dashboards as well. I'm really amazed by how you did that. And I hope everyone learned something from this. Thank you, everyone. And see you next week.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Out of 26 movies. Oh, have you seen all 26 movies?
No, but I have seen all the Frank Capra movies and some of William Berg. It's very clever. I love these old movies. So I watch a lot of movies.
I have to ask, how did you notice that Jimmy was a recurring actor in the movies? What was the incident that made you notice that?
It's because I love this Jimmy Frank Capra movie. So I watch You Can't Take It With You. And I watch also It's a Wonderful Life. And I start saying, is it the same Raven? This one? But this one is like Jimmy. Why is not credited? Why is not credited? And then I just did some research on it. He could even type on the old machine to write. Of course, not making words that have a meaning, but you can see him on one of the film. It's very funny.
Well, that's cool. Yeah, I never noticed recurring themes between different movies, but this is interesting. I think when people are watching movies, everyone pays attention to different things. Like some people pay attention to the color scheme. I remember reading an article recently on Game of Thrones. I'm a huge fan of Game of Thrones. And the article goes into detail on how Daenerys Targaryen, which is the main character of the series, she actually changes her hairstyle and her costume throughout the different seasons to illustrate her character growth. So she starts off as a slave with very little clothes, and her hair is all in shambles. And then she first got her Dothraki army. She had these bangs and a chain to the Khal Drogo's army. And then eventually, when she got more and more army and her dragons got born, she had this bangle with the dragons and stuff like that. And I thought it was pretty interesting, like people pay attention to all these little details in the set. And it's amazing.
I mean, that's why we are all different. Huh? We will not watch the same things or obsessed with the same things. Sometimes it can turn, or little exercise on Tableau Public can turn to an obsession. Huh?
Yes, it
Like
is.
when you watch certain series, and I am guilty of that. You type like you are with a paper and you whatever you collect as a data. That's a little bit an obsession, but
I mean,
that's nice.
ultimately, anything in life can be quantified, right? So as long as it can be quantified, it can be visualized.
Exactly. That's what I love.
Yeah, I remember when I was doing my master's study, there was one of the topic that required us to list something about our life. So I basically had an Excel sheet where I put in hours within a day of what I did, like taking care of the kids, taking care of my wife, cooking, laundry, blah blah blah, and just plotted out like just a snippet of my life to show how much time is taken up by my parenting duties. Which was also quite liberating because I didn't know that I was spending so much time with the kids. Yeah, but it was fun. Like.
And now I'm curious. I want to see this chart. Maybe you can publish it on your Tableau public.
So actually, let me see if I can pull it out quickly. It was a very funny viz that I didn't really think that much about. This one. It was just a week showing like how much time I spent with the kids at the grandparents' place, playtime with my firstborn, shower time, dinner time, blah blah blah. And the time I had to sleep, just 23% of the entire week, which was quite short. My whole week was, I think, more than 50% with the kids and work, and I only had 5% time with my wife. And I had even more time spending on house chores and school, and just like 2% for myself.
So now you should redo it and
Yes.
show the difference. Now that you are aware that you are spending like
Yeah. I mean, now
this
it's probably a bit different because my kids are slightly older. They're like 4 and 6 now. But I think this was done 2 years back. So maybe I probably should redo this to see if things have changed.
for the better. So now I want to see like a bigger portions for the pink.
Yes, but that should happen.